did you see the Bernie Sanders rally?
I saw a picture of a big rally.
So I tried to do some digging because obviously I'm just skeptical of everything. It seemed like it was a real big rally.
Yeah, who
They're
knows?
claiming it was the biggest rally in the Democratic primary so far, potentially bigger than any Trump had. I can't quote. That's not necessarily 100%.
Do you trust your editor, Ben?
Hard to know for sure. But a huge rally, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is backing his campaign.
Okay.
So you follow this political world a lot closer than I do. And you've done a breakdown of Bernie Sanders. Sorry, thought about doing a breakdown of Bernie Sanders. What did you think of the rally? Do you like his odds?
I didn't watch the rally. I watched portions of the Democratic debate, and I don't think any of those people can beat Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this before. I find it. Joe Biden looks very old. He looks confused, and not savvy. And by the way, I'm not ranking anyone's platform.
This isn't based on their political views. This is based
no.
on how they come off on stage. Because I think that's what Trump highlighted, and I think before him, Barack Obama highlighted, and what Bill Clinton highlighted. Yep. A lot of presidential campaigns come down to how well you can present yourself to your base.
Sure. Now, one thing I have been impressed with in Bernie is that despite his age and despite the fact that I've seen him struggle to hear, at least in the recent weeks, what I've seen of him is vibrant. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really critically important for him after this hard issue.
Yeah.
Is to be I'm going to be here for 4 years.
Yeah.
You're not electing my vice president.
So we've talked about this a little bit. Bernie Sanders, in his campaign, has unlocked the number one marketing tip that every copywriter tells you to do. The number one thing in marketing they always say to do is tell the person that whatever problems are happening in their life are not their fault.
This is Donald Trump too.
And
this is
if you're
the best campaigners do this.
And this is what all business people do. If you're poor, it's not your fault. Buy my course on how to make money. If you're heavy, it's not your fault. Buy my course on how to be fit, right? Bernie, his whole campaign runs on that, right? You're swimming in student debt. It's not your fault. It's not that you didn't do the math when you thought about your debt and your income afterwards. It's a crooked system, right? Your job you don't like or it doesn't pay you enough, not your fault, bad system. Medical bills too high, bad system. And he's so popular despite the fact that you tried to do a breakdown of him and ultimately there's not a ton of charisma there because the one thing he does really, really, really well is he says it's not your fault. All the problems you have are because of other people. And if you vote for me, together, we're going to fix your life without you having to do much.
Well, just so you know, I could do a breakdown on him now that he's tweaked his message. So if you look to 4 to 8 years ago, his message was more complicated than that. It was, yes, taxes will go up, but overall, this is what everybody who talks about universal health care is struggling to message.
Your life was going to be better. Your taxes will go up, but your life is going to be better.
And he has, I think, in part, learned the lesson of sound bites, which is you need to have 10 words together that just are going to rally your base. And so he is doing better. And as his campaign goes, I'm open to a breakdown of him. But yeah, when I watched him, he's not the most dynamic of speakers. If I did it, it would be Bernie's improved positioning, honestly.
Yeah, he's very good at getting people to feel emotions, I would say, more so than anything.
I have to look into him deeper because I watched the Joe Rogan podcast. I watched some of his things, and I was also listening for content because I am interested in the political ideas. It's just I have to look at things through a different lens when I'm going, what can I break down here?
Yeah.
So he might get it one day. I'm also not convinced. I think you probably saw it on Reddit.
Saw what?
The image of Bernie Sanders or whatever.
No, I was Googling for this podcast because you told me you weren't coming up with much. You said, hey, it's just a week for me on the podcast, so I hope you have topics. And I went, sure do. What's going on in the world?
So it's still tough. I should look into it further. It'd be an interesting charisma to do a debate and then to make a prediction similar to Trump with who would be the Democratic candidate. I have not looked close enough to have a strong opinion at this point. But what I didn't see stand out oratory, debate, Barack Obama level skills up there. And so if Trump loses, I think it's going to be in huge part, I would bet against it, quite frankly. But if he does, I think it will be in huge part because of all of these proceedings against him. The best thing going against him is not a candidate. It's we were trying to impeach him and we're doing this and we got this on him and this and this and this and this, that it's going to be the weight of that. Certainly not. Nobody's going to come in there and just take it from him.
Rock it with a soundbite.
No, not happening.
There's not going to be like, what was it? Hillary said something if you were president, and he said if I were president, you'd be in jail.
Yeah. Ronald Reagan came in and took it from Jimmy Carter, I think, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Carter was 80. I'll have to double check but he upset an incumbent president because he was an actor. Yeah. He was excellent.
Well, Clinton's got that one clip that we broke down, right? Where this woman asks a question and Bush talks to the audience.
Great one.
And then Clinton comes in and he says,
yep.
And he asks her a question with the thumb point.
And George Bush goes, oh. You need to be phenomenal to beat an incumbent president, particularly with a strong economy. So I'm not a political pundit. I don't want to go too far down this path. I will one day, as we get closer to these elections, do a charisma prediction breakdown, all that kind of stuff. I think it could be fun.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
AOC came in there.
Yeah. She's got it, man. And again, no comment on
her
platform. She's got it. She's someone who's going to shake things up. She's got the oratory skills. She can be inflammatory when she needs to be. She can get people rallied when she needs to be. There's something charismatically special about her. She's just too young. Yeah. She just is not. This is not her year to be
10 to 30
to be
years.
president, right? Yeah. But she's going to do stuff for sure. I see that in her.